Hello everybody, welcome back to Cookie and Hayden's. I'm Car Boot Chris, and this is our lunch hour live. We do it once a week, and it could be a random day. Today, it's Thursday, it's midday, so we're going to have a little bit of a chit chat about eBay, whatever else you want to talk about. Can be anything, it doesn't have to be reselling if you don't want. Yeah, we can just chat about anything, but today's theme is all about the top-rated seller protection, specifically the partial refund facility. I'm going to talk about it. I've done it recently for the first time ever, and I'll get your views and opinions in a little while. Before we do that, let's just see who we've got in today. If anybody's new, I always say I'm a full-time reseller, predominantly use eBay, but I do use some other platforms as well. So yeah, if you're new, say hello and we'll give you a shout out and see who we've got in. So we've got Santa was first in. Hello from the North Pole, Antoinette, and we've got Daisy. Hi Daisy. Anne. Good afternoon, everybody. We've got AMPR. The Monkey Thrift is in as well. Phil, welcome. Pete from Theme Parks and Toys. Who else do we have? Rosie. We've got Shabba. Lots of people in. This is good. Lisa, Limelight Vinty, the Happy Chap 84. Welcome to you. The Plush Lady. That's a new name. Hello, not new. Okay, stand corrected, but new to the chat. Okay, well, welcome anyway, and thanks for commenting. Always good to see some new names. The Tap Peddler Derek's here. And we've got Emsden as well. Hi, Chris in chat. Hope you're all well. We are good, thank you. UK Reseller is in as well. Laura. Santa, AMPJ is close to AMPR, yeah, and it's a little joke from my part. It's pretty bad, really, isn't it? Yeah, it's an in-joke. Fletch 1, just turn the laptop on and you popped up. Oh, happy days. That's you sorted for the next hour. All right. Bell's working from home today. Jolien T, welcome to you. New name, I think. Left-handed Hummingbird is in. And AMPR says, did anyone go to the eBay Prepare for Q4 seminar? No, I didn't actually. I didn't. Maybe we can watch back. I don't know why I didn't. I don't remember much about it. Like being advertised or anything, but I might be wrong. Let's see who else we've got. Chop Busy is in as well. So welcome everybody. 49 people in the chat. Give us a thumbs up if you like these lunch hour lives. helps me decide whether I'm going to continue with them or not. Because if nobody bothers giving a thumbs up, then what's the point, right? Night's Life Richard. We got Darren as well. Hi, Darren. Feel like I've not seen you for a bit, Darren. Hope you're all right. Jolien T, excellent pronunciation. Been lurking for a while. Oh, well, that's fine. Thanks for saying hello, though. Being brave. Tap Peddler said he was at the eBay gum prepare for Q4 seminar. eBay gum gets far too much airtime. They really do. Darren's been busy. Fair enough. Well, it's good that you've been busy. Hopefully it's with work-related stuff and lots of sales. Okay, so the main theme, unless anybody else wants to talk about anything else in the meantime, the main theme for today was all about eBay seller protections, and specifically the top-rated seller protection that you get, which is being able to issue partial refunds. Feel free to share any of your experiences. I'll share mine, and then I'll talk about a few things about maybe why I've not really used it in the past. A couple of weeks ago, I utilized this function for the first time ever. And that's, I've been on eBay, as a business since 2015. Prior to that, obviously, I've been a personal seller since the year 2000, but as a business since 2015, and I've never used this facility. And I've pretty much always been a top-rated seller. And what happened was I sold, do you remember I picked up a super dry watch, a really nice white sort of pretty much immaculate super dry watch. And it sold pretty quick, like, when I say pretty quick, week or two. That's irrelevant whether it sold quick or not. I'm just telling the story. So I sold it, dispatched it, delivered it. And as soon as I don't know if it was as soon as it got delivered, but I got a message from the buyer saying that they weren't happy about the condition of the item. And they sent me a picture. And the white immaculate watch that I sent had all orange, like fluorescent marks around the rim of the face. It was weird. I couldn't even fathom out how this had happened, other than potentially the watch had been worn and damaged, or a child had, damaged it. And, they sent me this message saying that's how they'd received it. Well, I know damn well that I hadn't sent it in that state. So they opened a return. The return gets automatically accepted by eBay. I didn't really respond to anything. I didn't have any conversation. I just thought, let's just get this watch back and let's have a look at it and see how it goes. So the watch arrived back, and indeed the watch came back, and it had all these markings on it that, the same as the picture that the buyer had sent me. And I just thought, well, there is no way that I sent it like that. I sent it immaculate. All the 12 pictures on my description, the description of the item, you could see that it did not have these marks on it. I would not have sold it without mentioning these marks. So I opted to have a look at this seller protection where you can issue a partial refund. Because at the end of the day, I believe that the buyer had caused the damage, because I definitely sent it immaculate. So to make up for the fact that when I sell it again, or the time to clean it or fix it, to make up for the fact that I might have to sell it cheaper, I utilized the protection and I sent a 50% refund. And when I did that, I put pictures on of what I sent and what they sent back, and a description of why I was sending a 50% refund. And it all went through fine. I never heard from the buyer. They never contacted me. The return, though, when you do that, even though you've done that refund, it stays open for 10 days afterwards. Because I believe, this is what I'm told by eBay, I believe that they leave it open for 10 days to give the buyer the chance to appeal whatever the refund. And if they appeal it, eBay end up normally, or this is what I was told by eBay end up, dealing with that themselves. It doesn't affect you as the seller unless you've abused the system, of course, and then it might well affect you. So don't abuse the system is the point. So that's what I did. I'm a top rated seller, but I think it may well apply to above standard sellers as well, but don't quote me on it. We'd have to check the fine print, but I think it may be above standard too. So that was my situation, and that's the first time that I've ever utilized that facility of doing a partial refund, which is protected by eBay. There's a couple of reasons why I've never really used it before. The first reason is it's an unusual situation where you have something returned that wasn't in the state that you sent it, or maybe someone's worn an item of clothing, it smells, or they've taken the tags off it. Those would all be situations where you could utilize the partial refund facility. But I've never really had any of that, or I don't recall having anything. But the other reason I've not really used it is for the fear of negative feedback. Because I'm thinking, if I only send a buyer 50%, or it's not always 50%, by the way, there's a guideline as to what percentage you send back. But if I only sent 50%, is that buyer then just going to leave me some shocking negative feedback and I'm going to be stuck with it then? And I didn't realize that you're protected from the negative or the neutral feedback. That's part of the process, is that eBay will protect you from getting the negative or neutral feedback. So that's good. And also, what else did I write down? Yeah. Also, you're protected from chargebacks as well, because if the buyer wasn't happy with you only giving a 50% refund, then in theory, they could go to their payment provider, however they paid, PayPal or credit card, and they could say, they could dispute it, and then you could end up with a chargeback because of that. But eBay will protect you from that as well. So there are protections in place. So actually, it's a pretty good system, or it seems to be a pretty good system. Now, I've waffled on for too long. I want to see what your experiences are of this system. Have you used it? Did you know about it? Have you had any problems with it? Do you think it could be better? So if you've got any of that, now I know a few of you do have experience, because I saw advice from at least one person, the Tap Peddler, and a few others. So let me go back through the chat, and please put your experiences in. This was the first time I've ever used it, which actually I thought it worked pretty well. The only gripe I probably have with it was they kept the return open for 10 days. That's a long time, isn't it? And it's annoying to have that return just sitting on your open returns desktop, dashboard, and all that. It's annoying to have it there for so long, because at the end of the day, if eBay are going to back you as a seller and say it's okay to do it, well, take it off. I've done my part. Unless you think that I've done it wrong or I've abused the system, take it off. I don't want open returns for 10 days, because you know what it's like. We all feel like when you have open returns on your account, it feels like you get punished for that. Whether that's true or not, whether the algorithms, whatever, we all talk about this stuff, but it always feels like if you have too many open returns going on at once, your views go down, your sales go down. That's what it feels like. So to have it open for 10 days is a bit annoying. Right, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to see what you've all got to say about this kind of thing. Hi to all the new people. We've got Ian J, Kevin, Hawthorne. Lisa says, can you issue partial refund if you're above standard? I think you can, Lisa. I think you can. I know it, I'm pretty sure it was always top rated, but I think you can do above standard. Tap Peddler said it has to be top rated, so maybe that is right. I thought I read somewhere it was above standard. Chop Chop says, I tried a $13.99 partial on a $23.99 sale. Didn't work. Posted back. I don't follow, Chop Chop. So you'd need to explain that a bit more. I don't really follow that. And Tap Peddler says, remember, if you do a partial, you don't get your fees back. That's true. Yeah. If anyone needs any help on it or wants to read up further, in the description of this video, there's several links to the eBay help pages. Because the problem is the way eBay have described this situation on their help pages, they've put it in different places. It's like this. It's hard to find. It's like you don't get a definitive answer. There isn't one section on eBay's help that says top rated seller or buyer seller protection, partial refund. This is what happens and these are the rules. It's not all in one place. I think there's about 4 different places to get the different information. So I've put a load of links, and also there's a video that eBay does that tells you about it and how you actually do it. And there's a link to that as well. So if you do want to read up on it, I've put all the links right there for you to find. Glamour's Closet. Hi, Dana. Good morning to you in the States. Yeah, you remember about that one, Fletch one? Yeah, the scuff marks. It was weird. I can only assume that they wore the watch and they marked it or something like that. What happens if the buyer says you did send it in that state? Well, to be honest with you, in my situation, I didn't get into conversation with it. I just went through the eBay processes. The return was opened. I received it. I issued a partial refund as per eBay's policies. It wasn't how I sent it. And I never actually had a conversation with the buyer. So I just did it like that. But if you follow the policies and you've got the photos to prove it, then don't worry about it. eBay should back you. That's what I would say. I would hope. Hi, Mike and Francis. Welcome. I'm still waiting for the but. To be honest with you, Fletch one, the system worked. There's a few little annoyances, like the 10-day thing. I wasn't expecting it to stay open for 10 days. But, yeah, it's just what they do. It's the rules. I'm guessing if the buyer then disputes it, eBay will more than likely pay the other half or the other percentage that you didn't pay. And we're okay as a seller. That's what normally happens, isn't it? Derek says, if you send a partial refund, eBay automatically will remove the feedback. Okay, that's good to know. Let us know about your experiences. Has anybody abused this system? Either as buyer or seller, because at the end of we are sellers, but we're also buyers. I buy a lot on eBay as well for myself and stuff. So do you think that anybody's abused the system, and how? 100% it was the same item, Santa. I checked everything. I looked at those photos, because that's another thing. They could have done a switcheroo, and that's what I was thinking might have happened. But when I looked on my photos of the items sent, there's a tiny little mark on where, like, what do you call the thing that you wind up a watch with? You know, that thing. I don't know. There was a tiny little mark underneath that, barely visible, but you could see it on the photo, just a little dot, and that was on it. So I make the assumption that it is the same watch. Hi, Richard. Welcome. Who else we've got in here? Oh, Monkey Thrifter didn't know about it. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I knew about it, but I never had to use it. And what I didn't know was all the protections that you get if you do use it. Sometimes the return stays open for ages, even when you send a full refund. Yeah, because they have to assess it, don't they? Lisa said, I don't think I would use it and let customer keep item, as I don't want them thinking they can do this every time and keep the item. No, it's not really for that, Lisa, because anybody can issue a partial refund if you've got the agreement with the buyer. So I did it today. Actually, I did it this morning. A buyer messaged me. They said, I bought these boots off you. Did you notice a little bit of the stitching had come out on the side of the boot? And the answer, of course, was no, because I would have checked that or seen it, I would have hoped, and not either described it differently or whatever. So they were going to open a return, but I said to them, if I give you a partial refund, you can keep the item and save the hassle of a return. And they were more than happy with that. So that's a different situation. This is when you receive a return back and you want to adjust what you refund the person because it's not come back in the same state. I hope I made that clear. Maybe I didn't make it clear. Hi, Kathy. Welcome. Tap Peddler said it's supposed to be a benefit of being top-rated seller. Whether you can still do partials without other parts of the protection, I'm not sure. Chris and Adina, full-time eBay resellers. Welcome. That's a new name. Welcome to the chat. I hope you find it interesting, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. And that goes for everybody else as well, cheeky buggers. Right. Alison's in. Greetings. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry, you got a late mark, but you haven't had many late marks, so you're all right. You won't get a letter sent home yet. Come on, let us know your experiences. I don't think you can abuse it, as it's only top rated who can use it. If you have endless returns opened, you won't have the option, as it goes against your seller metrics, so you won't be top rated. Yeah, fair point. I have got a situation that I'm going to tell you about where there's possible abuse of this system. And I've got this straight from somebody who's been experienced of it. Pete's Retro, welcome. Winder, that's it. Crown, there you go. I knew there was a proper name for it. I'm not a watch person. I sold a watch, but I don't know what the bits are. How am I supposed to know what the bits are? Chris and Adina says, I had a game returned as not working. When it came back, the disc was missing. The only thing I could do was partial refund. Game was only £7, but still felt cheated. Okay. Very annoying, that, isn't it? Really annoying. I guess you could have disputed it with eBay. You could have opened a case with eBay, but you decided to do what you decided to do. Well, I guess for a low value thing, is it worth having the hassle of a case? Happy Chap 84, not part refund, but I had a buyer who did not send a return and kept asking eBay for extensions on the last day. eBay gave him 10-day extensions twice. In the end, eBay closed, but it took 50 days. Oh, that is mental, Happy Chap. 50 days to resolve that. That's on your account for 50 days. Norman James says, I've just watched your how to contact every video. Do you know if this still works? I've not touched wood. Where's the wood in here? I ain't got any wood. Oh, there's a thing down here. There you go. Touch wood, I haven't had to contact them for a while, but there's mixed comments. Some people say it works, some people say it doesn't. I think it very much depends on when you actually ring and the time of the day, how busy they are and stuff. I think they they put their phone lines onto like automatic changes and stuff. That's what I think anyway. The only thing you can do is try it. Yorkshire Mix, hi. Welcome to the chit chat. You have now. Oh, sorry, I didn't explain it properly. Yeah, it's for the situation when something is actually coming back to you as returned and it's not in the same state as it should be. New name, but we have changed the name like 10 times. Been watching for ages. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad you've been watching for ages. If I'd have opened a case, I might have lost as they tend to side with the buyer. True, that does happen a lot. At least you got something back, I suppose. Alison said, I haven't had a refund or negativity yet. Knock on wood. Yeah, exactly that. Tap Peddler says, Etsy offer similar protections as well. They cover full refund on many circumstances. Okay, so we're talking about like abuse of this system, and I was talking to somebody. I'm not going to mention names, but I was talking to someone, and they had experienced as a buyer a bit of an abuse of this system. So they bought something, and it for whatever reason, like wrong size or something very nominal, they wanted to return it. So they bought something and returned it in the normal fashion. But when the seller got it back, they automatically did a 50% partial refund on this system. And they said that it was because it wasn't as they had sent it. But I know the person who bought the item, and they tell me they are very trustworthy. They tell me that they had done nothing with the item other than receive it and send it straight back. So to me, that means that there's potentially some sellers out there abusing that system. And basically, remember in the early days of eBay, you could discount a refund as like a restocking fee. So for the inconvenience of receiving a refund, you could make a small discount on it and say, or make a small charge or discount and say that that's a restocking fee. And I think that sounds like this seller in particular that's what they're doing. So even though they had done nothing, the buyer had done nothing to that item and sent it back in exactly the same condition, the seller had still done a 50% partial refund. And I think they're using it like a restocking fee. So that's a bit naughty, because that puts us all in a bad position, because people shouldn't abuse the systems. So that's how I think the system may get abused. But like someone else said earlier, if you're getting too many refunds, you're not going to fit the category of too many returns. You're not going to fit the category of top rated seller anyway and get that benefit. So there you go. Tina says, hi Tina, I've had a few people ask for a partial refund and they were resellers, not general buyers. So sometimes the system is abused by people who should know better. I always say send it back and they don't. Fair enough. Yeah, everybody, you find people abusing systems all over. If there's a loophole, somebody will find it, won't they? eBay gum does it on all sales, Kathy. Sadly, though, nothing ever sells. Hi, Jack of all trades. Welcome. I've seen loads of sellers who say that on eBay. Surely that's against distance selling regs. What do you mean, Kathy? Can you let me know what you're referring to? Happy Chap 84. Unfortunately, I think we've we all had negative experiences buying on eBay. Fortunately, if you get onto eBay, they sort things out pretty quick. I think most of the time things get resolved fairly and quickly. Sometimes not, but when there's so many things that go wrong on eBay, there's millions of people buying and selling, so things are going to go wrong. So a percentage of those, a small percentage, might not get resolved in the way they should. But that's just that's life, isn't it? Not everything is perfect. And when there's humans behind it, and even when there's robots behind it, it doesn't work, does it? Restock fee. I've seen loads of sellers who say that on eBay. Surely that's I don't think you can't do a restocking fee anymore. You used to be able to do that on eBay a while back. I'm talking way before I was a business seller. In the early days of eBay, you could do a deduction on the refund and say it's a restocking fee. And I think you could even have it in your policies that if you return something, there's a 10% restocking fee or whatever. Tap Peddler said, I used a top-rated seller on football boots that came back with mud on them over a month after being delivered. Right. And Derek, am I to assume that everything went okay? What did you do, 50%? Because you can do different percentages, and there's actually guidelines on eBay as to what the situation is, as to what the percentage should be. It's not automatically meant to be just 50%. I've been reading up on it. Let me share the screen and I'll show you some of the help pages. And like I said before, this information is in the description below and you can find it yourself if you want. But it is in various places, so it can be a bit tricky. That was one. Was it this one? Just come back to that one. See what I mean? It's in all different places. It's not easy to get the answers. Partial refund guidelines. Here you go. Partial refund guidelines, specifically related to this situation. So you got here, excellent condition. Yeah, you should not be making a deduction. So in the situation of my friend, they sent it back in the exact same condition as it was sent. They should not have been having a partial discount or partial refund. So there it goes. That is the guidance. So if it arrives back in good condition, but it's missing the original packaging, factory or vacuum seal is broken, or original tags included but not attached, then you should be looking at 5 to 10%. If it's in fair condition with missing parts, some signs of wear, blah de blah, tags missing, you should be looking at 15 to 30%. And if it's in poor condition with significant signs of wear, different to how it was shipped, missing parts, damaged, scratched, defective, etc., then you should be looking at 35 to 50% deduction. And that's the maximum that you can do is 50%. And that is what I did with the watch, because I would have described it as significantly different as to how it was shipped. It was definitely significantly different. So you can find that information in the links below if you want. And there's further information about it here, because I'm not an expert on it. I've only used it once. But following that, I did a bit more research on it. And all the information can be found on here. What you're covered for and how you get protected. It's all here. And if you want to watch eBay's video, if you want to actually take advantage of using this system, the partial refund, so when the item gets returned to you and you go back into your return case and you're ready to deal with it, so what you have to do is you go to refund the buyer, and then you click on report a problem, and that is where you get this, what you can see on screen here. You might not be able to see it, might be too small, but you have to tell the return system what the problem was and then how much you're going to deduct, percentage or amount wise, but you can't do more than 50% anyway. And that's how you kind of do it. It's very easy to do it. And if you want to watch the video on how eBay tell you how to do it, it's a 1-minute video, very quick, and there's a link in the description below. There you go. I've talked enough about this. Let me see if anyone else has got anything. Loads of sellers still say that there's a restocking fee. Wow. Wonder how they even deal with that, because they must be using like this system, because there's no other way really of doing it. I think American eBayers can do the restock fee, maybe causing confusion. I also see a lot of sellers with no returns in their descriptions. I think people still think it's late 90s. Well, personal sellers can have different return policies. So personal and business is different. Tap Peddler said, I did a 50%. They obviously used them for a match and then you had to clean it again. Yeah, fair enough. I think that's fair. Monkey Thrifter Peter said that I have had buyers say that media was scratched and want a full refund. I said, if you're not happy, please return it. And that's the last of it. That happens a lot, doesn't it, Peter? It's like put your money where your mouth is. If it's bad, send it me back. I'll sort out a refund for you. Kathy says, distance selling regs have always been the law since my dad worked in catalogs in the 70s. I reckon they're just trying it on, but it would be difficult to take anyone. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You're not going to mess about with that, are you? But yeah, it's interesting that people still try to put those charges on. You need to think about the percentage deducted based on not getting any fees back. You could end up being better off financially giving a full refund. That's an interesting point, Richard, actually. Yeah, so, yeah, potentially. I guess you'd have to weigh it up. I mean, to be fair, thankfully, I don't get many refunds and returns. I try and resolve things really before things get returned. So it doesn't happen that often that we have to think about it too difficultly, too hard. I have to think about it that much, but I guess it depends what area you're in, what kind of categories you're selling. You're going to get more returns than others. Yeah. eBay mentioned 5 to 10% for missing packaging, but on most items. But also, if you look at, it's only a guideline, but it kind of contradicts itself a bit, because if you think about it, so you send an item new and sealed. Here you go. I listed this morning. It's a brand new and sealed PC game, right? It's got the original seal on it. Brand new and sealed, right? So if I sent that and somebody sent it back and returned it and the seal is broken, there's no way I'm doing a 10% refund. It's going to go 50%. Okay? And you can also argue 50% because on their thing, let me find it again. On their own descriptions, where is it now? 35 to 50% also says, it says significant signs of wear. Okay, not significant signs of wear, but it also says, or significantly different to how it was sent to the buyer. And I would say opening something that was brand new and is now not sealed is significantly different to how I sent it. So for me, I would be inclined to do a 50% on it. That's my opinion. Obviously, these these conditions, sorry, I'm looking at it, and I know you're not looking at it. These conditions are open to interpretation, aren't they? But I would be pretty annoyed if someone opened that, because that's worth a hell of a lot more sealed than it is open. In fact, it's probably worth about 50% less. So I've actually listed this for 99 quid, but I reckon I'd only get about 50 if it wasn't sealed. So yeah, if someone sends that back and it's been opened, I think 50% is fair. Dumpster Diving UK, how are you? Hope you're well. Just looking at your little logo there, your little man in a wheelie bin. That's good. Yeah, Derek's right there. If Derek's got a lot of experience with this, I think he's done it a couple of times in the past. If buyers don't like the partial refund, they can appeal and eBay will refund the rest to them. And I think that's why they leave it open for 10 days. That's what eBay told me. I queried with eBay. I went onto live chat when I had my situation and I said, why is this return still open after 10 days? I've done my bit. I've refunded 50%. They sent the item back in a bad condition. So why is it still open? And they said that's why, so that they can appeal it. Alison said, I sell all new factory sealed skincare and cosmetics. Hard to return something back that can't be resold and thrown away. Yes. And it actually has it. Let me go back to it. In the poor condition, one of the things of a 50% deduction is opened items that cannot be resold. And then in brackets, it's got perishables, liquor, and makeup. So that yours would come under that, but it'd be pretty frustrating that you would still lose. I guess so, if you think about it. Right, okay. So you've got your little makeup thing. I don't know, mascara. Let's say that's the first thing I can think of. Sealed mascara, right? I don't even know what that is. Honest to God, I don't. Sealed mascara. It costs you £1. So you sell it for 20. Example. I don't know how much mascara costs. Costs you £1, you sell it for 20. So you ship it out, it gets returned, and it's open now. So now you can't sell it because of health and hygiene, and it's been opened, right? So you can then activate a 50% refund. So you send them £10 back. Let's keep it simple. Forget about shipping and stuff. You send them £10 back. So you still got £10 of their money, or you've still got £10 for that item, which only cost you £1. So you've not lost out. You've lost out on the bigger amount, but in total, you've not really lost out because it costs you £1 and you still got a tenner for it. I guess that's the thinking behind it. I guess that's how you have to rationalize it and to not get yourself pissed off with it, really. Tap Peddler says, also remember, if you argue with eBay before refunding someone and they escalate a case, you can lose your top-rated seller. Okay, interesting. Lots of good information from Derek. Santa says, I've got the elves working overtime on Virtual Duck Race Champions Trophy. Oh, that would be great. Santa's sorting a trophy out for the duck race. Excellent. If you're new here and you don't know what is going on with this conversation at the moment with the duck race, we have a duck race every Monday night at 8 p.m. Well, it's not actually at 8 p.m., but it's on our live show at 8 p.m. on a Monday night. We do a duck race. It's a lot of fun. It's very exciting. Honest. David said, a YouTuber recently sold some skates. 6 weeks later, they open a return case saying the item was damaged, even though the seller had a 14-day return policy. How can the buyer have possibly won that case? Interesting one. I don't know the answer to it, David, but it's a good question because I don't know the exact circumstances that surround it. But yeah, 6 weeks later, they've obviously appealed it with eBay, and for whatever reason, eBay have sided with them. Chop Chop says, would make more money listing some more items in the time span it takes to fight a refund. Yeah, that's very true. We do, people get worried about returns, probably too much, more than what they should, really. Yeah, it's just one of them things that people worry about, overthink it. Hi, Husties. Shabba says it would help the carbon footprint if it was made significantly difficult for a buyer to return on eBay. Number one, contact seller first, work out a solution, and provide images of damaged fault, and would reduce some scams. Yeah, I wish it would be good if people would kind of contact you first before opening a return. But I guess that's a buyer's right, isn't it, to return an item under certain circumstances. David says, what's the point of rules and policies when eBay just overruled them? Was really annoyed to hear the seller had lost the case. Yeah, and if you want to let me know like who that YouTuber was, so that I can have a look at it. I mean, I'm not saying I can do anything about it. I'm just interested to go and have a look at what the situation was, because obviously I don't know the ins and outs of the situation, and I'm no expert on any of this anyway. I'm just giving you my experiences. Buyers must provide images of the received item, including any serial numbers, to the seller before agreeing a return. That the item returned is the one stated in the buyer's images, unless, yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, they could still take a picture of that serial number that's correct and then still return a different item, couldn't they? I mean, it would be harder for them to argue a case, but I guess it could still do that. Yeah, there's always ways you can improve these things, isn't there? Fletch One says, did have a buyer who opened a return TV remote, didn't work on his equipment, mentioned on my listing, make sure compatible with your equipment. Yeah, but it's still it's one of them cases where people don't read the description properly, or they don't check that an item is compatible. It happens a lot with like media, sometimes media like Regions and PC games. Make sure your PC is compatible with this game, because it's minefield, isn't it? That kind of stuff. Let's see what else we've got in the chat. Happy Chap says, when I worked in retail, we had people trying to return underwear. We did not take if worn, but people did try. And what did you do? The sniff test? Did I just say that? How else are you supposed to know? The Batcave, afternoon to you. T-shirt Suntan said, returns are relentless at the moment. It's really making me think about quitting eBay. People are so dishonest. Wow, you're getting a lot of returns at the moment. What's happening then in your world? Why do you think this is going on? And you're called T-shirt Suntan, but what do you sell? Give us a bit more information so that we can give it some context. You know what I mean? Tap Peddler's got another tip here. Top rated protection. You must offer 30-day returns on the item, not 14. Oh, okay. Yeah. So to qualify, you've got to do at least 30 days. Nigel sells stuff. Welcome. Another problem as a reseller is getting blinkered into thinking all customers that reports a problem are scamming you, when this really isn't true. Yeah, totally. I agree with that. I agree. The majority of buyers are honest, and I always look at it that way. Yeah, and I've been a business on eBay since 2015, and I think, as far as I can recall, this is the first time with this watch, the first time someone sent something back as a return, and it's not been how I sent it. So one time since 2015, it's not a bad percentage. I bet if I worked it out as a percentage, it's pretty small. Ah, Brum Reseller. Okay. I'll try and dig that one out and have a look. Wait, what's up, Alison? What? Also would be good if before a negative or neutral left, buyer can provide private feedback to the seller to make their business better, or even use star metrics and get rid of neutral pos. You know what? A lot of people have said about eBay's feedback system, whether it should be overhauled. I don't think they'll ever do it. I think there's an argument for it. I mean, Vinted use the star system, don't they? Also, you can write a comment. But yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about, isn't it? Lovely, lovely. I guess I left it wide open for that. The seller even left the buyer positive feedback, Chris. Then decided they wanted to return the item broken at the end of 6 weeks holiday. Oh, that's naughty. Yeah, that's naughty. I wonder how they got away with that one. Woodies, hey Chris, totally agree with you. We overthinking returns. It's frustrating, but physical stores have the very same issue. I have to deal with it face to face. It's a fact of the job. It absolutely is, Woody. If you're in retail, you've got to deal with returns. And I think in the grand scheme of things, there's probably less returns online than there is in a physical shop. I've had a shop before in the past. I had a shop, and yeah, I probably got more returns in the shop. It's just part of doing business. And sometimes the returns aren't genuine. Most of the time they are. Sometimes they're not. But that's just part of doing business. It's just what we have to deal with. When you go into retail, you have to accept these things. You have to accept that a tiny percentage won't work out. A tinier percentage will are scammed. A tiny percentage could get stolen. Imagine if you had a physical store, how much stuff you're going to get stolen from your store on the high street. It's going to happen. You have to account for a tiny percentage of loss. You have to account for loss. Chris and Adina said, I have had partial refunds work in my favor as well. Items have arrived damaged and they were able to fix the item, and we were both happy with the outcome. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Going back to the remote, he wouldn't pay return postage costs, seeing as it was a low value item. I let him off in good faith. Yeah. Sometimes you just let it go. Let it go. It's not worth it. Ozzy said, I've sold 50 items so far. I have only had one return for a digital clock that was completely my fault for not fully testing it. Fair enough. At least you're honest about it. Things like this happen. It's, we're sending stuff in the post as well. Things can get damaged in the post. Things can move about and not be in the same condition sometimes. Oh, it was Master of Pieces, not Brum. Yeah, I thought so, Alison. I thought so, but I decided not to go any further into it, really. T-shirt says, I have sold a vintage Yves Saint Laurent blazer, and it has sold twice in the last few months and been worn both times, rental service. And the second time it came back with a hole in the sleeve, sickening, and nothing we can do about it. Were you able to do the 50% refund? Are you a top rated seller so that you can do that 50% refund? At least you get half your money back from it. Let us know if you did it. Chris and Adina says, I think 30-day return is standard eBay return policy. Yeah, I think that, if you want to be top rated, then you've got to do 30 days. I do 60 days. I've done 60-day returns for quite a while now, and I don't see any difference. Touch wood. Where's that wood thing? Oh, I don't see any difference. I haven't noticed any difference. I mean, I guess come Christmas, you could get, a bit more returns after Christmas, but I do 60 days. Kathy said, I sold a new DVD set, got a complaint that it skipped. I sent them a new set. Turns out it was their DVD player needed cleaning. They sent the new one back. Shame they're not all like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. At least they were very honest about it. Hi, Chris. Welcome. Wow, we've managed to talk a whole hour about this subject. I am surprised. I didn't think we'd be on it for this long. Let's see if I can get to the bottom of the chit chat. We've done very well. Thanks for being so interactive today and telling us about your experiences. I just thought it was a good subject because obviously I'd only used it once and I didn't know about the intricate details, what's behind it and the protections you get. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I've not missed anything. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. Yeah. But everyone else has filled in the gaps. So thank you so much. The TRS protection is like CCTV in a shop or your security guard. Sometimes the buyer needs to be dragged to the floor and told to empty his pockets. That's a good one. Interesting analogy. I like it. Chris has just had his car in for a service. Now he's skint. Not cheap, are they? Secret Carper said, just had a message from a buyer. I thought you do think the worst, don't you, when you get a message coming in? Turns out he wanted to leave feedback. He wanted me to leave feedback for him. Happy days. Yeah, there you go. All good. I can't even pronounce your name. K53 Vins, late watching. Just done a partial refund for a Barbie doll house I sold. But does eBay pay the other 50%? eBay will only pay the other 50% if it's appealed. If your reason is appealed by the buyer, then eBay may step in and deal with it. But as long as you've done everything right and you've shown the pictures and you've given the reason for why you've done it, then you should be okay. That's the main thing. Yeah, they did TRS, but second one claimed it was delivered like that, so can't do a partial. Oh, that's interesting. That's annoying. Yes, it is. Yeah, we're talking about 30 days, weren't we? And the 6 weeks is past 30 days. So I'm surprised they won that. Yes, yeah. Mike says, can you show us your... Oh, Quantum Leap tea. Yeah, sure. There you go. You like it? Quantum Leap. It's back. Quantum Leap's coming back next week. Or is it this week? Is this next week? Quantum Leap is back. But at the moment, looks like Scott Bakula is not in it. Or not in as the main leaper. Maybe he'll be in it in some point in the future, but at the moment he's not in it. I hope he will come into it at some point, because as far as we know, he's still leaping about in time. So unless they explain that. Monkey Thrifter said, when I worked at Grattan Catalogs, we had items like 3-piece suites with reason for return didn't fit, and there was confetti in the pockets. Surprised you do 60-day, Chris. If no difference, why not do 30? I do 30. I would do 14 if I still had TRS and TRS was a thing. I don't want returns after a month of them having stuff. I just think it's more attractive for the buyer. I think if you do the maximum level of returns that you can, which is 60 days as it stands, then maybe it will convince someone to buy. Maybe it's a selling point. I also do. I've also started doing free returns for domestic, so free returns for UK purchases. I've stopped short of doing free returns on international for obvious reasons, but I do free returns 60 days, and hopefully that might convince people I'm a more trustworthy seller. I'm more likely to be okay with returns. So yeah, it might help give a bit more confidence. That's the word I'm looking for. Confidence in the buyer. Thanks for the live. Cheers for popping along, Mike. We're pretty much done now. I think we've hit an hour. I need some lunch. I'm absolutely starving. Me and Belle are doing the 16-8 thing, detox thing. Oh, so basically, you can eat for 8 hours of the day, but the other 16 you have to fast. So you can drink but not eat. So what we're doing is 12-8. So between 12 and 8 during the day, that's when you have your lunch, your tea, and your snacks, whatever. But then you don't eat from 8 o'clock at night until 12 o'clock, 12 midday the next day. You kind of fast, and that's supposed to make your digestion and your whatever. Belle knows about it, but she convinced me to do it. So right now, I should have eaten at 12, and now I've not eaten now since 8 o'clock last night. That's how committed I am to you lot. Don't say I'm never committed. Santa says there's a YouTube channel called Gas Station Encounters. Derek's comment made me think of it. They have lots of CCTV cams and confrontation shoplifters. Is that what that is? Yes, absolutely. Such one of the best series of all time. Really is. Great t-shirt. Thanks, Laura. Great leaper, but terrible starship captain. I'm not a Star Trek man, but he's very typecast, really. Once he'd done Quantum Leap, very difficult to get your head around him in any other way. Oh, YouTube and Master of Pieces. Yeah, we mentioned that before, DVD Fangirl, but thanks for popping in and thanks for commenting. Question, Chris, have you had a manicure? A manicure? What? No, I've never had a manicure in my life. This is my manicure. Just bright with nails. How much do you charge international shipping? So I'll use GSP at the minute, Aussie. I've considered a flat rate. I've considered flat rate shipping for international, but nah, at the minute I'm just using GSP. Do we get a kiss at the end of this one? Now, I don't think any. I lost about 4 subscribers on Monday night. I lost 4 subs, and I'm convinced it's because I kissed the camera because you told me to. Not you, Laura, but somebody did. Someone said, blow me a kiss. So, I went a step further and I lost people. Miserable gets. Intermittent fasting. Yeah, that's what I'm doing at the minute. I must say, I'm not liking it much, to be fair. I'm absolutely starving right now. Oh, Claire says she's TRS, got 14-day return. Oh, interesting, Claire. I thought it was 30 days. I'll just get down to the bottom of the chat because we're done, I think, for today. Fletch one, my brother tried it. It felt like shit. I'm hoping it's going to, like make you a bit less bloated and stuff because it gives your body that time. That's the idea, isn't it? That it gives your body that time to process what you've had during those 8 hours overnight and in the morning, and it'd be less bloated and stuff. I'm not expecting to lose weight on it. That's not the aim. I'm just trying to eat better at better times because eat after 8 p.m. Like if you eat at 9 o'clock at night and then you go to bed at 10, it's not good for you, is it? I mean, I hold my hand up. It's not good for you. And I'm a bit of a bugger for snacking late at night. I get a bag of Doritos out or whatever, and that's not good for you. Laura says I'm a diabetic, so I can't do that one. Yeah, I wouldn't really class it as a diet. I think it's more of a, it's not really a diet because I eat whatever. during the 8 hours. Thanks, Chris. Cheers. Won't be the same without him. I'm hoping that he makes some kind of reference or appearance at some point. I think it was wishful thinking to expect that he was going to come back as Sam Beckett. Oh, Tap Peddler says you'll be top rated, but won't have the seller protections. Is that what you mean? No protections. Yeah. Flipping hell says, hi, Chris, I'm unsubscribing because you've squashed Bungle onto that middle shelf. I know, but I needed somewhere to sit the on-air sign. So, yeah, he is a bit squished. I'll sort it. I'll sort it. Please stay. Don't go. I have returns after my 14-day returns policy. Broken football boots was told off eBay. After I rang them, it was because of eBay's money. Oh, the money back guarantee. So maybe that's why they step in after your own policies. Right. That could be it. Better digestion. Yeah. They had the football boots for 6 weeks. That's a long time, really, though, isn't it? Cheers, Antoinette. Thank you. Ditch diet and just take Senecot. Does the on-air sign output heat? I might need it soon. Well, never mind that. Think about what electricity it's using, Derek. I might have to not even use it. No, there's no heat coming off it, unfortunately. Oh, thanks for staying. Claire says, I've used a 50% reduction previously with the protection. Oh, okay. Zig and Zag, that looks rude. Yes. Where's his hand? Oh dear, that does look rude, doesn't it? Right, we're done. We've chatted enough about this. I hope you found it interesting, useful, or informative. Don't forget, there's some links in the description below. If you need more information about it, you can use those links. Because it is a bit haphazard on the help pages. There's like 3 or 4 places where this information is. So I've got it all there for you ready. If you found it useful, give us a thumbs up. If you found it interesting, give us a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss a future live, which we do on a Monday night, 8 p.m., then make sure you subscribe, because you should get a notification of when we are going live so you don't miss it. Before we go, I'll just say a big thank you to all our channel members and supporters. Tori, Emsden UK, Sam, Mick Page, Lindsay and Alvin, the Monkey Thrifter, Fix It for Reselling, the Dave, Soul Steps, Santa, Steve O'Brano, Brooke, Matt Sell Stuff, Glamorous Closet, Kieran Biddle, Paul Daubney and GT Preloved. Appreciate all your support. It's always very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody, of course. All of you support the channel. You all come along and I really appreciate it. So thank you. And we'll see you on the next one. Car boot sale video at the weekend. It features Laura, well, hopefully not Laura because she didn't want to be on camera, but ex-partner Steve. I bought a shed load of stuff from them. Spent about 100 quid on their store. So, yeah, they could pack up for the day after that. So I think that's coming this Saturday. And then we'll be back live Monday night. Even though it's a very, very sad day, the 19th, it's Queen's funeral. We voted on Monday. And you guys said you still wanted a show. So that's what we're going to do. We're more than happy to carry on with the show. And maybe a bit of light relief for a very, very sad day. So we'll see you on Monday. And don't forget to tune in for the boot sale video at the weekend. That is it. Thanks very much. And I'm stalling for the outro because I've lost it, as always. See you all later. Take care.